When he was 17, Davis Guggenheim fell in love with a record, and it was this one, Boy, by U2. Davis felt a connection to U2, one that he had never felt with any other band before. It was as if their music was his music, and that's something a lot of people around the world can relate to. Now, 30 years later, that feeling for Davis came true when U2 became the subject of his new doc, From the Sky Down. Think about it, you're a diehard fan telling the story of your idols. How do you approach that? Especially when your film surveys a really turbulent time in their history, the recording of Achtung Baby, which saw the band pull back from a possible and really a probable implosion. They reinvented their sound and they changed music in North America.
Carry each other, carry each other. Oh.
Davis doesn't shy away from challenging questions, and that's become a bit of his hallmark. Teamed up with Al Gore for An Inconvenient Truth, that film won an Oscar and put Davis in a league with his dad, the Academy Award-winning filmmaker Charles Guggenheim. His dad's docs explored issues of race, poverty, and education. Davis picked up that theme last year with a film called Waiting for Superman, changed the conversation about how to fix public schools in America. And he also asked, are teachers to blame? His motivation to improve the future is pretty self-evident. He's got 3 kids with his wife, actress Elizabeth Shue, and lives for the feeling of making work with social relevance. Davis is contemplating a new project, and it's nothing less than his own reinvention.
Good to see you, man. Nice to see you. Happy to be here. Great to see you again. This is cool. This is a cool film.
Thank you.
I mean, last time here we talked about Waiting for Superman with a lot of heavy into the education system.
Yeah.
And now you've had a couple of quality rock and roll films under your belt.
Thank you.
You know, with obviously with the Might Get Loud and now this one. Were you a big fan of U2 beforehand?
Yeah, it was a problem. You know,
Really?
the first album that was mine, my brother actually brought it home. It was U2 Boy.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is my music. Like all the rock bands before that were someone else's, and so I love that. And that's a problem when you're making a movie. If you're a huge fan, you lose your objectivity. Yeah.
So then the idea of getting U2 to do this, something that Bono has said, and just covering the band over the years, the one thing that U2, they are many things,
yeah.
but the one thing they are not is a band that lets anybody else control
Yeah.
what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I heard that you were making a film with them, I thought, I wonder how much control.
He's screwed is what went through your mind.
Well, yeah, I didn't know. I mean, I just thought they're wonderful people, but they're never going to let Davis do what Davis needs to do to tell the story.
And they did. They're such a forward-looking band. You know this. You know, their music is always into the future. And don't look back. Like, it's the name of another great documentary. You know, if you look back, you're in trouble. It's like looking down from the high wire. And this is, I think now they're ready to look at that great album, Achtung Baby.
Somehow, it seems like a part of their lives they don't deal with. So when you started getting it, did you know you had it?
The process is, how do you get someone who's so used to media to be comfortable and to be unself-conscious and open? But there's an art to interviewing, and you are one of the great ones.
Oh, you're very kind, thank you.
From just a fan sitting in my Toronto hotel room after a long night shooting, I would watch your show and go, I'm in good hands. And I think that's really what it is.
And then when you know the band entrusts you to tell their story, do you have fears of exploitation? Do you worry about seeming like you're picking up pieces that you shouldn't pick up? How do you negotiate that with a band?
When I first showed them the movie, I was like, oh, man, they're gonna just, you know, because they are famous for control. And there are scenes in this movie which I'm shocked they are okay putting in, because they're now very raw and naked. And they let it, you know, but because I think they're real and they're truthful to them. And so I'm shocked and surprised.
So aside from the truthfulness, let's take it to the bigger themes then, you know, loyalty and kindness and generosity. These are words that have come up in this film talking about the band. Is that what you're looking for in a subject? Are you looking now to tell those sorts of stories?
What made them great, what makes them great, is their ability to stay together. These guys love each other and are devoted to each other. And it's like a good marriage, which is not sexy.
Yeah.
You know, weirdly, they know that. You know, like, why did we talk about that? But it's beautiful. And imagine, you know, my marriage is beautiful and the best thing in my life, but it's the toughest thing I've ever done. And I can't imagine that with 2 other people involved.
That's true, right?
A marriage of 4 people.
I mean, they do it in Utah, and it's an incredibly I've seen the documentary Big Love, and it appears to work all right, you know?
We should consider that, honey.
She's right there.
I know.
And she's beautiful. People will take her. What do you need that in a person now, though? Because what you're saying is true about a rock band, but it's true about people with good lives as well, which is you need that. You need that idea of friendship, and you need that bond. It's less about the self and more about the group, right? Are you looking for that in people when you're telling stories?
Some documentaries make films about people they hate. And I think you've revealed something to me at this moment, is that I have to make movies about people I love. So I fall in love with the people I make documentaries about. I don't think I could spend a year of my life making a film about someone I hate. I mean, and by the way, that's a worthy thing to go after enemies, and that's cool. But my process is eventually falling in love. How cool is this? He was talking to Bono. I just watched him across the bar. You were talking to Bono like best friends last night. And I was like, you know, you love this guy. He's just, and you know, and it's just.
I like authenticity, and I think that, and I also really appreciate earnestness in a band if they're being earnest about things that are incredible. And things that are incredible are humanitarian efforts and a great record.
Right.
Those things are all really important. And that band takes the music as seriously as they take anything. So I respect what they do because they take this seriously.
Yeah.
And they've always been very kind about it. And so if you have to fall in love with something, what are you in love with now? Like what do you think the next deal will be for you?
I'm broke and out of work, so is there...
what do you mean you're broke? I understand you're out of work, but you're broken out of work?
Broke is an exaggeration.
Yes.
But...
Would rich be an exaggeration?
Rich would be a big exaggeration. We're getting by. So we're in America, where a lot of people are out of work in a real way and suffering. I'm not suffering, but I'm out of work, you know, and so needing the next job.
You love telling a rock and roll story.
Yeah.
You've done the education story, and what I like about It Might Get Loud and the U2 film, Sky Down, is that I got to be in the moment. And if you're a music fan or a fan of these people, you can go and be inspired otherwise. Whereas, you know, Inconvenient Truth and Waiting for Superman, essentially you leave that theater going, I have to do something now.
Yeah.
You know, or I feel like I have to do something. That's that balance of that kind of storytelling. Do you get the sense that when you tell an Inconvenient Truth story or a Waiting for Superman, that in the end things are going to get done?
I hope so. I mean, I feel like with Inconvenient Truth and Waiting for Superman, we actually were trying to break a code, and maybe we're close to breaking it completely. This idea that you can tell a powerful story where people are moved, and then they go out and get involved. And we had tremendous success with Inconvenient Truth, and even better success with Waiting for Superman. It was very complicated, and there were but hundreds of thousands of people got engaged. Millions of people saw the movie. And the conversation in America went from sort of classroom size, which is sort of a wrong-headed notion of fixing schools, to teacher quality. And teacher quality is a really tough subject, but it's the next step in fixing our schools. Is how do we keep, retain great teachers? And that's fantastic.
The film is called From the Sky Down. Davis Guggenheim. Great to see you. Thanks.